always start with applause. I didn't plan this, but it is 10:30 a.m. Grace, and I'm at the spot. I don't expect it to show up today, but you never know. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to do the news. I'm getting there. I'm not going to do the news. Instead, I'm going to try and explain the idea I had about taking a break. I think most problems in life can be solved by simply taking a break. However, the one place we can't take a break from this might end up worse than the news, but we'll see. Sorry. Change your location. Nice bench, but too sunny. Bunch of maintenance men in the playground today. Sorry, there's one girl. found a slightly less sunny spot, but maybe noisier. We'll see. Talking to the mic. If I was insanely rich, I'd build a facility where anyone who needs to take a break would be given that opportunity to do that. And during that time, they can basically do what I've been doing the last few years, which is whatever the fuck they want. Now, I'm not saying everyone would want or need 3 years. I think a lot of people would just appreciate a 3-day break from their life. And by break, I mean a complete and total separation as far as they want it to be, and for whatever reason they want it to be. That article that I read the other day about I guess the crows are hecklers. About the truly magnificent woman or whatever it was. Truly, I don't know, stunning, I don't know, whatever it was. All of those things are exactly how psychology should approach the individual, but they don't. Anyways, if I was just insanely rich, I really should plan these better, but I can't hear that train until just about a second before I can see it, unfortunately. Mr. Crow's pissed off because they have a nest up in the tree. Too bad. I'll just keep describing the scene until I'm ready to talk. Grace. The lawn bowlers are here, but they're not bowling yet. I'm assuming they're lawn bowlers. Maybe they're here. Hear me speak, Grace. The first 2 fans, 2 old people in a tent. Just sit here and talk about trains. Anyways, I think it's all bullshit. I think everything's bullshit. But if I could set up this facility, I'd make it 100% anonymous, guaranteed. From the moment you walk in till the moment you leave. If you want your identity protected, it will be guaranteed 100%. And like I said in the wherever it was, movie or book outline, and this would be not a program that I design. It's not AA, it's nothing like that, other than the anonymous part. I'm stealing that directly from them because they didn't do it right. But I'm also not discriminating. If someone wants to come and stay and go through an AA program, they're more than welcome. Completely facilitate it. It doesn't matter if it's one person or 100. Every person that goes there will be anonymous if they choose. If they don't want to be, that's their choice. And everything will be guided by the individual. Probably not watching this, Grace, but if you are, it's a video of a coffee cup taking a break. I think, depending on what, actually we'll go back to the comedy cult thing. Most comedians are fucked up. They have to be. To get the truth on stage. And all the comedians right now that are killing it, they're doing it with honesty. They're up there telling true stories. They're true-ish. They're true-ish enough that it doesn't embarrass themselves. Or that they don't embarrass themselves. Thought I heard the maintenance guys clapping. Well, they are. I definitely would offer absolutely anything anybody could get right now on their own if they had the resources, whether that's financial or just access to the system. That's half the problem, is access to the system. You can get help, but the amount of rigmarole you have to go through is just painful. So, and anything new. Someone could go there and create a program, ask others to join. And if others are interested, they could. It's just a complete, total open environment. No judgment, there's no time limit. There's no time limit in the sense of anything, really. I mean, most rehabs are 90 days because it's basically how long it takes to go through the program. You do AA, and almost all of them are AA. On the other hand, 90 days is a lot to take out of your life. And who knows, maybe this is even where the problem is. Part of the problem, and I don't know why this would even be, is not necessarily that everyone believes their system is the best or whatever, whether this is mental health issues, pain, control, addiction, sadness, whatever. Everything just gets so rigidly defined. When in reality, nothing about humans are rigidly defined, in my opinion. Nor should they be. It's easier. It's easier if everyone just does the same thing over and over again every day. Makes everyone's life easier because then there's no conflict. These maintenance guys are walking away now, so they've done their job. Look relaxed. No conflict. But who the fuck knows what goes on with their lives when they go home? I mean, earlier there was like 15 guys and the one woman. I mean, at least one of them has got to be high. One's probably feeling the effects from last night. And who knows what else. It doesn't matter. They can do their job. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But one of those people will be labeled, they all will. Everyone is going to be labeled something at some point. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if they want the label or not. I don't understand labels, Grace. I understand it's a shortcut, but it's a pain in the ass. I think the one thing that both any sort of therapy or mental health support or addiction support or control envision once the let's call them participants, since this is essentially a big old experiment. Once, let's assume there are some successes. I think I should say too, right away, is I don't see this as a what are called dry facility. There may be two areas, one dry and one not dry. But my logic is everyone should have the right to quit at their own pace, quit whatever they want. Whether that's drinking, whether that's fighting, whether that's fucking, whatever they want, but at their own pace. To bring someone into rehab and say, no, not until you're completely sober, is the completely wrong thing to do. I'm not saying force them in drunk or high or whatever, but I would say have them come in at their normal consumption rate, whatever that happens to be. Is their normal consumption rate or their normal intake? That's when they feel normal to them. That is the place they are trying to get to. And whether that's nodding out in heroin or just getting drunk, it doesn't matter. That's, to them, that's their normal. The same goes for any other pill you take to feel normal, any other food you eat to feel normal, favorite breakfast cereal. You're just trying to get into a state of mind a normal state of mind, a calm, peaceful state of mind. I use nicotine when I write, Grace. Does that make me an addict? Does that make me an addict? Am I an addict if I smoke? Am I an addict if I take a lozenge? Am I an addict if I use a patch? And whose fucking business is it anyway? And fuck the healthcare system. Anyway, if they're there for addiction and they want to drink or smoke or even inject themselves, they can. It's not going to be a safe haven for just that. They'd still have to be looking to make a change. But I'll guarantee you, generally, people that are drunk or high are honest. They like to tell you all their secrets when they're drunk. It's the perfect truth serum. So why not? Why wouldn't a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a whatever recognize that? Because, let's face it, the system that they're using now just doesn't save enough people. I'm talking both the psychology system and the rehab system. It's helping some people mildly. It's curing a few. Lots of people go through AA and come out clean and sober. But they also have to, they don't have to, but most of them just follow the program to a T, mindlessly, thinking that this is the only way because that is the only way they were shown. And I'm not suggesting anyone that's clean and sober go back to drinking. All I'm stating is the system for helping anyone to slow or reduce anything or end sucks. Because if it didn't suck, there'd be a shitload more happy people. Because when I look around, and I'm on that noisy fucking train, I don't see a lot of happy people. It's not that they're unhappy. They're just all stoic. I'm not trying to be dramatic with this. What I could do is just cut out all the pauses. But then that wouldn't be right. In fact, let's use this as an example. If this was a meeting with a psychiatrist and I talked in this pace and tone, and stopped talking to him or her every time a train went by, and then tell them I pretend that the trains are applause breaks, and then I get tired of talking, so I sip my coffee or have a smoke in front of them and completely ignore them until I'm ready to speak again. How well would that go over? It wouldn't. That's the problem. Who cares? What's the big deal? Again, see, this is where sometimes if you're rich, you could just do that. You could just hire psychiatrists to just say, sit there and listen. Don't say a fucking word till I'm done. However, just an example. There's a million ways it could be done. And I think not only would the story spread, so to speak, about the place, I think the flexibility would allow people to come to the front doors and ask for help. And whether that's staying in the facility or some other method because of their situation, who knows? With money, anything is possible. And there could be day programs. If your current situation doesn't allow you to just pick up and leave, maybe there's day programs with the same concept. Some structured, some not. Supply and demand. If everyone's asking for AA, give me AA. But if someone going through AA says, you know what, I think I have a better way of doing this. Or someone going through AA says, you know what, I don't think we need to do this part or that part. Or someone going through AA says, you know what, I'm going to take the big book and take out all the God stuff, rewrite it a little bit, and that's the one I'm going to go by. And if others are interested, they can join. If they're not, who cares? Helicopter applause break. Jeez, big day. However, at first, before offering this sort of concept to anyone and everyone, just like in my perfect day, I would I would ask a small plane break. Busy day. Before I open this up to the public, so to speak, just like in my perfect day, I'd get 1,000 volunteers, hand out 1,000 envelopes with $1,000 in them, and a card with a phone number and website. It just says, if you need help, contact us. You just take it from there. And then instead of having them come in as patients or rehab, whatever, or drug addicts, we wouldn't do any of that at start. All we do is just give them a home, get them off the street, give them a break, give them a chance to get their life together their way first. How many of those homeless people can get a job, but they can't because they don't have shelter. It's simple as that. However, once they're there, or before they're there, the entire system will be set up. And whether that's set up by me, set up by others, I don't know. Grace. Well, after saying I don't see happy people, there's a girl walking down the street dancing, so I guess she's happy. I'm feeling very serious today. Grace. And then if we can offer jobs to the once homeless, we will. Or we'll make relationships with places that'll get them jobs and understand where they're coming from. Because the other problem with being homeless is you have to lie about everything. And starting a job on a lie isn't the best thing to do. And if they're willing to participate and give us their data, the sense of their story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, once again, anonymously, then all of those once homeless people, they're going to provide a blueprint of how they got there in the first place and what we can do to prevent it from happening to others. It's just part of what I don't understand, Grace. I mean, I think it would be obvious. I think it is obvious. But for some reason, the governments of the world can't seem to figure it out. Whereas to me, I think the simplest solution would be to ask. Ask them what the fuck happened. And what can we do to help? But just taking the drugs off the street, if anything, makes it worse. At least if there's a guy in the park here, which I've seen, doing crack or whatever, at least if he yells for help, I can call 911. Or if he asks for help, I can call 911. Or if he's foaming at the mouth, I can call 911. But if he's at home, he or she's a goner. But somehow, the politicians are too fucking stupid to recognize that. Maybe it's just me, because I'm not out late at night, but I've never been harassed. Probably too scary looking. So that's my grand idea, Grace. All I need is about $1 billion to get it up and going. Although technically I envision every single person there being a volunteer, with the exception of any sort of manual labor positions. Those would all be paid. But in my mind, I see most of the people there as researchers, not necessarily scientists, but just anyone with an interest in human nature, psychology, life, and a willingness to want to help others for whatever reason. If it's for their ego, I don't give a shit. If they want to give money and that makes them feel better, I don't give a shit. If they want to give money and have their name on the plaque, fine. If they want to give money and not have their name on the plaque, fine. Huge bee, Grace. Almost stepped on him. Get some sun on the concrete. Well, I suppose the good news is you don't have to look at anything if I do it this way. Grace. So aside from the funding, I probably have to circumvent about 1 million rules and regulations. However, sure I can find a way, or I won't. And then they can come try and close it down after about 1,000 people go through it successfully. I wonder how many times someone decided to quit smoking and then just quit smoking. Because really with smoking, AA meeting for smokers would be pretty weird. I think most people just want to quit smoking for the health reason. Not for the lack of nicotine. There's nothing wrong with nicotine, it's just the carrier is the issue. However, now I'm just babbling, Grace. Seven more minutes. I could do 7 minutes of news. 7 minutes of lawn bowling commentary. 7 minutes of the park description. 2 bratty teenagers on the swing I want to go sit on. So I can't go there. Older lady done her done. Old lady was doing her exercises, now she's leaving. Fucking bright out. Hecklers. I think too, if psychologists tried this concept, this sort of open narration, they would find that their customers would open up more. And why can't psychology be anonymous? Why is it anyone's business? Even the psychologist. If their best interest is to help people, then they should help the person whether the person wants to use a number or a name. And then, when and if that person wants to tell their story, it's their choice. They don't have to. There's no responsibility. I mean, if they found some mind-blowing way of curing whatever it is they felt needed to be cured, it'd be great if they shared it, but forcing them would be wrong. But likewise, it'd be interesting to hear other people's stories, whether they go through the program or not. Not the program, but the facility. There is no program. The experience. Whether they go through the experience or not. Because there's a bazillion stories out there about mushrooms and PTSD. But they don't necessarily they explain the experience, but not necessarily what flipped the switch in their head, or whatever it was. So what I'm really saying, Grace, is I'll probably be broke the rest of my life. So when we write that first book, you better save your half of the proceeds. Because I think you know where my half is going.